Welcome to The Search for Wellness, the podcast where we explore what it truly means to live a healthier, more fulfilling life. Each episode, we dive into inspiring stories, eye-opening conversations, and practical tools to help you nourish your mind, strengthen your body, and uplift your spirit. This is your space to learn, grow, and discover new ways to thrive one step at a time. Welcome back to The Search for Wellness. Today's guest is me. We are going to talk about 10 things I wish I knew before my cancer diagnosis today. But before we get into those 10 things, I just wanted to take you guys back through the story of my diagnosis. So 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. It was COVID, and it was still quite at large because it was in 2021. And it was exactly at this time of the year. It was I got diagnosed on the 26th of July, 2021. And when I went to see the doctor to hear the 3 dreaded words that no one ever wants to hear, you have cancer, I walked out of the doctor's office that day and I turned around crying to my husband. And I said to him, I do not want to die. That was the first thing I said to him. Because honestly, the first thing you think about when you hear the word cancer or a diagnosis like that is, that's it, I'm going to die. So I didn't understand why or anything about it because it was still very new to me. And that journey really led me into the person I am today. I am so different than I was then. And I do things so differently now than I did over then. And at that time, I did think I was already a healthy person, that I was already fit, I was already doing everything right. But clearly, I still wasn't right where I should have been. And this is why I wanted to share this podcast with you guys today about the 10 things I wish I'd known before my cancer diagnosis. And again, before I start sharing those 10 things, I'm going to read you something from my journal. So I used to keep a journal. But before I got diagnosed, it wasn't really a proper journal. It was more like a manifesting journal of what I want. And I used to write stuff like as if I had it already. And I realized I was doing it all wrong. I was writing stuff that I wanted as if I already had it, but I really didn't believe. And that's the thing. You need to believe you already have it. Not just by writing it, is it going to actually happen? And I didn't really believe. So this is a journal I started writing right after my 40th birthday. So this was a little bit after my diagnosis and after my surgery. I'm going to read you a little bit from it. All my life, I have been moving towards one direction. I have always known that the power to heal oneself is within us. I have always been intrigued and attracted to healthy eating, what's good for me and what's good for the environment. I feel like all my life till now, it's all been a build-up to this moment, to prove that I have been right all along, to help others with my own expertise and my own experience and my own journey, almost like the chosen one, to make a difference, to make a change that will shake the world. Spirituality growth, blocking out negativity, healthy eating, breathing, healing, I know it's all at the pit of my gut. And this is the right way and the right path to go for me. I don't want to live with fear. I want to live with faith. Faith that what I have believed in all my life is true. And that I can conquer this disease and move on and live a life full of excitement, adventure, laughter, love, and happiness. I believe that I deserve all of this and more. And I believe that I will come out victorious at the end of this journey. This is just a lesson that I have to learn in my life. There comes a time in one's life that he or she needs to make a decision. I am at that point and I have to decide whether to go ahead with radiation, chemo treatment, or whether to listen to my gut and work on healing myself by myself. And I wrote this 5 years ago in my journal. And here I am sitting in front of you guys, talking today about these 5 lessons that I wish I had known before my cancer diagnosis. So let's go straight into it. I don't want to take too much of your time. So lesson number 1 that I wish I'd learned before is stress isn't just stress. When our body is in a stressful state, we get into this state called the fight or flight state, where our body perceives danger constantly. So as if we're being chased by a lion, we're always perceiving and looking at it being in a stressful state. And what's interesting about this stressful state is that we don't even realize how often we are in this stressful state. Yes, it is good to be in a stressful state once in a while when you need that focus and you need that concentration. But being in a chronic stressful state is definitely not good for your body. I know for a fact that I was in a stressful state because of COVID, because of taking my work online, because of homeschooling, because of doing all of this. My body was in a very stressful state at that point. And I didn't help it much. I just continued going, pushing, living in fear, not sleeping well enough. One of the best things that I have learned is to make sure that I'm never in that stressful state. Or if I am in a stressful state, which we do get into when we're exercising and we're exerting the body, then I'm not there for a very long period of time. I come back into my parasympathetic nervous system state, because the parasympathetic nervous system state is where we are resting and we're digesting. That's when healing, true healing really sits. And that's when true healing really happens in the body. And why is it called rest and digest? One of the other reasons why it's called rest and digest is because we cannot digest our food or actually absorb the nutrients from the food that we're eating if we're in a stressful state. So this is the other thing that it's really important, is to really focus on when we are in that rest and digest state and making sure that we eat when we are in that rest and digest state and not in a stressful environment. So stress is one of the most important things that I wish I had known how to control or balance my stress. And now it is one of my biggest priorities in life, is to make sure that stress does not take over my life. The second one is sleep. Sleep, honestly, is medicine. I used to love my sleep before, and I still absolutely love my sleep. But it's not about quantity of sleep that matters. It is about the quality of sleep you're getting. It's about the recovery. Is your body recovering while you're sleeping? Or are you still in a stressful state when you're sleeping? Is your cortisol level through the roof while you're sleeping? You need to make sure that these are the things that we are really more aware of. The other thing sleep does is it helps balance our hormones. We need to have our hormones in a balanced state. Another thing that is so important, and this is where sleep comes into play, is your immune system. So when it comes to fighting cancer or fighting any disease or just even fighting the common cold, your immune system is the one that does all of this. And if your immune system is compromised, then you're not going to be able to fight even the common cold, let alone cancer. And so when you're sleeping properly and recovering properly, then you are building that immune system back up. And true healing honestly happens when we're sleeping. All our organs are healing when we're sleeping. Our digestive system is healing when we're sleeping. We are in that fasted state. That is when the body is like, let's get to work and let's fix things here, so that when she wakes up, she's wide awake and she's energized and she can get on with her day. So yes, sleep definitely is my non-negotiable, and it should definitely be yours too. I prioritize my sleep over everything now, absolutely everything. And I wish I did that 5 years ago too. Another one is community. I really strongly believe in having a strong community around you. Community is definitely key here. And loneliness can really be something that can really disturb you, especially if you're in a state where you're suffering and you're fighting a disease or you're having mental health problems. Loneliness can really take over your life, and having that community, having a place where you belong, can really help you feel and come back to you, really come back to you and balance you and just bring you back into that alignment. Community can be in many different ways. So it doesn't have to just be like the one we have at Beyond Body. I mean, we have this beautiful community of people who come to Beyond Body. We share, we laugh, we work out together, we love, we cry together. And it is just such a comfortable and open space. And I'm so grateful for that space. But you can have community in many other ways too. Community with your family, praying with your family. So really deeply meaningful time that you spend with your family. My mom always says, the family that prays together stays together. And I've taken that on with my family too. Praying together has definitely kept us strong and together. And just, when you pray, you really truly pray to God for forgiveness, for whatever it is that is going on in your life. He's there, He's listening, He is protecting you. A funny thing that happened yesterday, I was driving down the road with my kids in the car, and there were these little young children who were studying in a public school who were walking home. And they were probably younger than my daughter also. They were probably 5 or 6 years old. And they were all walking home on their own with their backpacks, nobody walking home with them. And one of my sons turns to me and goes, "Mommy, these kids have no one walking home with them. Who's looking after them? Who's protecting them while they're walking home?" And I pointed my finger up and I said, He is looking after them. God is looking after them. And so when no one else is looking after you, remember that God is there and He is looking after you. So community is key because, again, spirituality brings people together also. Your friends, having the most amazing time with your friends, just laughter and joy. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I have gone out with my friends and laughed so much that people around us probably think we're on something, but we're definitely not even drinking alcohol at that point. So just laughter. Laughter is medicine. Having a supportive family, supportive foundation at home, having a supportive spouse. So just having a beautiful spouse who supports you, who loves you, who understands you, who sees you, who hears you, who feels you. Having loving children and being a loving parent towards those children, and just spending that quality time in being a human being and not a human doing. And healing doesn't happen alone. Honestly, you don't have to all do it at once on your own. Remember, you can always reach out for help. And that is the other thing, that I was always a doer. I always felt like I could do everything on my own. I could do everything on my own. And one thing that this journey has definitely taught me is to share my burden. And in my sharing my burden, I really offloaded a lot of that stressors that were on me and just shared them around. Lesson 5 is one of my biggest ones, and I talk about this all the time, is nature. I mean, nature has become my therapist. Spending time in nature. I think I used to spend time in nature before, but not quite the way I do now. Now I spend time in nature where I notice the most, it's so bizarre. I'll notice stuff that I'm like, how come I never noticed this before? I'll notice the smallest things. I'll notice the bees sitting on the grass. I'll notice even the wasps. I'll notice the birds. I'll notice the different types of birds. Grounding, just staying connected to Mother Nature, just connecting to, connecting our hands or our feet to the ground, to Mother Earth. I mean, we do come from nature, and we're going to go back into nature eventually. No matter how much we try to believe that we don't come from nature, we do come from nature. And we're going to get, when we sit in nature, we get the negative ions, and we're really surrounded by so many positive ions at the moment. With all the EMFs, the lights, the radiation, the chemicals. So just sitting in nature and grounding, we are getting back those negative ions, which lower so many things in our body, from the inflammation, from the endocrine disruptors, just calm our hormones down, calm our nervous system down. So again, bring us back into that parasympathetic nervous state. So just being in fresh air, listening to the birds and the bees, and just sitting in silence, just sitting in awe of the beautiful sounds and the smells and the healing you get from nature is just so special. And then number 6, this was one that I really struggled with in the past. I mean, I think I still struggle with this one till yet today, but I'm getting much and much better at this one. And this one is learning to say no. Yes, it is such an important lesson for us to really learn how to say no. If it doesn't align with you, and it's not because you don't care, like you could care about that thing or that person, but it's so important to care about yourself first, and people will respect you for that. So just learning to say no and not even needing to give an explanation to why you are saying no. Hold yourself accountable. And if you do anything, just try to say, okay, you know what? No. It is such a beautiful word. And people often think it is not, but it is such a beautiful word. And sometimes it can be quite shocking to just say no first. It also creates boundaries and self-respect. That is what I believe, honestly. Lesson 7, breathing. So breath changes everything. And I know I've spoken about a lot of these before, but I just want you guys to understand how important these things are and why they're the foundation to everything. And just learning them has just really shaped and changed me into the person I am today. So my mom introduced me to these breathworks. And in fact, it was so funny. I was just thinking about it. During COVID, we were doing these breathworks and I really thought they were stupid. Honestly, I really thought they were stupid when I was doing them during COVID. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I don't think this is going to help me in any way whatsoever. But then after my diagnosis, I took it a bit more seriously. And breath changes your life. I mean, you can live almost 30 days even without food. You can live 3 days without water, but you cannot even survive 3 minutes without breathing. Oxygen is free. It is in the environment. It is free and it's taken for granted. But breathing, correct breathing in the right way is so important, because what it does is it brings in a more alkaline environment to the body. And we're more into an acidic state all the time. So when we breathe correctly and we do these breath works, we bring our body back into alignment and we bring our body back into alkalinity. And no disease can survive in the body if it's alkaline. If you have an alkaline body, which has no inflammation, which is completely alkaline, then you definitely have no chance of any disease surviving in the body. So breath work has really helped me. It also helped me with my mental state. So it really calmed my nervous system down. It helped me regulate myself and just balance myself and align myself. I did it every single day and I still do it every single day. I do it with my children. It helps my children. It is really something that I go to all the time. And the best part is it's free. You can do it absolutely free. I have a little series on my YouTube channel that is the breathworks that I do all the time. I've done a series with my mom on breathworks. So I highly recommend if you'd like to learn more about these breathworks. I know they will sound a little silly, because they did sound a little silly to me before, but they are so powerful. Your breath really holds the key to your healing. I definitely believe that. Lesson number 8 that I learned was movement. Movement is definitely medicine. I was already moving before, and this is the interesting part, is I was already a fitness instructor, moving my body, doing all the right things. But at that time, it did feel like I was doing too much, because I was teaching all these online classes. I was moving my body, but I was moving it maybe too much. And movement is good, but movement is good to be done not as a punishment, but to be done as a reward for the body, to thank the body that, yes, thank you, body. Thank you for moving. Thank you for being able to do this. I'm so thankful that I can actually stretch. I am so thankful that I can do a push-up. I am so thankful that I can do all of this stuff. It's not about chasing calories. It's not about getting the 6-pack. It's not about getting the big biceps. It's just about moving better so that you feel better, and you create those amazing hormones, the endorphins that help you feel happy, the natural happy pills that you create on your body when you move your body. And, paddle has been a great one for me also. I think paddle has really changed me in the perspective of movement. It's also helped me with my mind. It's helped me with my agility. It's helped me with my community, helped me with building a new friendship around it, and helped me with my bond and my relationship with my husband too, because I play paddle with him all the time. So I think movement has been amazing. I go to the gym with my husband also quite a bit. I love moving with my community. I think my favorite time to move is when I'm teaching my bar class or when I'm teaching my TRX class. And credit goes to my clients. Honestly, credit goes to my community because they make me feel like I belong there. As much as they feel like they belong there, they make me feel like I belong there and that I'm doing the right thing. So honestly, a lot of gratitude to them. But movement is definitely my medicine for sure. And lesson number 9, healing happens every day. And this one may be a little bit more, there is a lot more detail that can go into this statement where healing happens every day. But I do believe it's not what you do once in a while that matters. It's what you do every single day that counts. And building a good foundation for my daily practice and for my daily routine has definitely been something so important for me that has really helped me with my healing. And my foundation and my daily habits are so important to me. The food I eat, I just make sure I eat a very nutritional diet, a very balanced meal. I make sure I have enough protein in my diet. I make sure I have enough fiber in my food because fiber is honestly so important for you. I make sure that I hydrate myself well. I drink enough water. I take my supplements. I monitor my hormones. I monitor my blood levels. I monitor my vitamin D. I monitor all of that. Once in a while, I still take my IVs so that I make sure that I boost my vitamin C levels because my vitamin C levels, I just find are so important to keep your vitamin C levels high. The other thing that was really, that I forgot to mention is that when I was back in the days, I used to fall sick all the time. If somebody got a cold, I was the first one to catch it. My immune system was so weak and I didn't know why my immune system was so weak, or I chose to just, I just believed, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. This is the way I'm meant to be. And so I just let it be. But I now realize that it was because I didn't watch and I didn't check my vitamins. And so now I make sure that my vitamin C is always at a higher level. I make sure my zinc is at a higher level. I check my vitamin D regularly, that is also at a high level. I check my omega-3s. I check everything and I just make sure that I take my supplements. I take NAD to support my body also, which has been a game changer for me. Absolutely amazing. I make sure that I spend time in my relationships, really spend quality time. It's not about quantity, but about quality time. I make sure I carve out those rest days. And this is an important one because I think before I didn't make any time for rest. And now I really make an intentional effort to carve out those rest days and just have time to just reflect and just see how am I feeling and how am I actually doing. So the other one that also I could add in this one is meditation. I think meditation for me has become a daily thing. Just to try and be in a meditative state, whether it's for closing my eyes and doing an actual meditation or just finding myself in a meditative state in nature, whatever it is, even during my breath work, just being in a meditative state for at least 10 to 15 minutes a day just brings me back into harmony and just helps me feel like I am healing on a daily basis.
This podcast was created to remind you that we are all on this wellness journey together. If you're enjoying these conversations here, I'd love for you to subscribe, share, and spread this love. Your support means the world to us and it really helps this community grow. With gratitude, lots and lots of love always.
Last one, but not least, is my body is always speaking to me. And I know that I wasn't simply listening to it before. We choose to ignore the signs that our body are giving us on a daily basis. So the first place that the body starts to speak to us is our hair and our nails, because that's the place that it can give up from most. And when we look at our nails, it can tell us a lot about our body. When we look at our hair, is it brittle? When we look at the texture of our skin, when we get a pimple or we develop a rash, that is something that is going on internally that needs to be addressed. And most of the time, we mask it, we ignore it, we plaster a lotion or a steroid or a cream, or we get our nails done. We get those fancy gel nails or acrylic nails done, or we go and just get like a hair treatment done or something. But these are the places where our bodies are actually speaking to us, and we need to learn how to listen to them. Listening to our body is one of the most important things that I wish I had learned 5 years ago, because I wasn't listening to my body. I was feeling so fatigued. I would wake up in the morning feeling like I had been run over by a truck, even though I'd had 8 hours of sleep. I felt exhausted. And I would wonder why. And then I'd get onto this rat race of drinking my coffee in the morning, exercising like a maniac, drinking alcohol in the evening, and then sleeping again and waking up again. And just you get into this cycle, into this rut. And so you have to kind of break out of this pattern. Also that gut feeling, the intuition, the one that I spoke about and I wrote about in my journal, where I said that I have this feeling, this strong gut feeling. That gut feeling kept coming back to me. That's kept coming back to me. And now I listen to it. I sit there and I listen to my gut feeling. And my gut feeling is the one that guides me towards many things in life. Pain, reset, just resetting the body, just bringing the body back into alignment. Your body is always whispering to you. It's like a knock on the door, constantly knocking until that knock gets louder and louder and louder until it starts to scream back at you. And so that it's important to listen to your body so that you don't get into that position where your body starts screaming back at you. I do believe in wearing a wearable, which is what I do, which I wear a Whoop. And the reason is it does hold me accountable. It does help me see that my sleep was good, my recovery was good, so that I know I can push myself harder today. I personally think it helps me, but it's not something that can work for everybody. And maybe sometimes it's just good to even remove the wearable. I do believe that I am a bit addicted to mine, unfortunately, but maybe sometimes it's important to remove it and just go back to listening to your intuition again. But yeah, so those are my 10 things that I wish I had known before my cancer diagnosis. But now, 5 years later, when I look back at my diagnosis and how much fear it brought into my body, and how I learned to turn that fear into faith, it helped me realize that I had fear over many things. I was scared of so many things before. And I turned that fear into faith in so many ways. And I thank my cancer diagnosis for that. My cancer diagnosis taught me so many things. It honestly became my biggest teacher through life. And listening to my body and just following my intuition has really been the reason why I feel like I'm confident enough to sit here and share this information with you. And to close this episode today, I just wanted to also say thank you to all of you for supporting me through this journey, for being out there to listen and to hear me and to actually even take me seriously and to take my advice seriously. And I'm not saying that my advice is good and important for everybody, but maybe there is somewhere in these 10 things that maybe something you might want to see might align with you today, and maybe try and change just one of those. I hope this episode was helpful. And if you do feel like anything that I've shared today has aligned with you, then do share this episode with somebody else who you feel like it will align with. Sending you my love. Make sure to subscribe and to follow, and to please share your feedback with me, because I also love to know how you felt after listening to this. And I hope that everything that I have shared today can help you, or just a little bit may help you in your journey. Sending you lots and lots of love. Thank you.